Oh my god. Who is she? Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Elise and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we are going to be talking about horror movies for hot girls and hot girls only. That's why you know I had to come through with the Jennifer check fit. Let's get into the video. Okay, so if you are new here, then let me explain real quick what this means. This is part 3 of horror movies for hot girlies, and in these videos, I specifically list horror films that I feel have very strong female leads, also known as the spooky bad bitches of the genre. Now, I want to say I tried to give a mixture in this list, as I usually do, so there will be a few older films that you may have missed, or just haven't seen yet and it's been on your watch list forever, and I hope by the end of this video you do decide to check them out. And without further ado, let's get right into the list. At number 10, we have Dead Alive, also known as Brain Dead, directed by Peter Jackson. When a Sumatran rat monkey bites Lionel's mother, she's transformed into a zombie and begins killing and transforming the entire town, while Lionel races to keep things under control. So I was actually introduced to this film by my patron, Andy. So thank you so much for introducing me to this film. The reason I put this film on the list is not only because I love it and it's cheesy 80s fun and has amazing practical effects, but I mostly put it on this list because Paquita is an absolute queen. She is a spooky bad bitch through and through, and without her, Lionel would have never gotten anything done. Paquita is just a really great female lead. The actress who plays her is a lot of fun, and she has really amazing fits as well, so she's just a queen. But again, if you're into amazing practical effects and really cheesy, ridiculous horror films from that era, you are definitely going to like Dead Alive. I highly recommend checking it out. A few months ago, I actually did an entire commentary video on it that I will link right up there. And now let's move on to number 9. We have Carnival of Souls, directed by Herc Harvey. After a traumatic accident, a woman becomes drawn to a mysterious, abandoned carnival. So I feel like this is one of those films that people do not appreciate enough. And I don't hear... Wow, where's the English? And I don't think it gets all the love that it deserves. This to me is a really good film from that era. I honestly feel like it is a masterpiece. There is some really beautiful shots in this movie, and our leading lady is a queen. She is amazing in every shot. There's a lot of shots of her just looking absolutely terrified, and she does an amazing job at that. I mean, she's great in the entire film. The movie is also really interesting, and visually, I think it's beautiful. It is in black and white, but the poster for this film is in color, and it is so gorgeous. I will say there are some weird edits and cuts in the movie, but overall, the movie really does work for me, and I think it is timeless. Now at number 8, we have The Loved Ones, directed by Sean Byrne. When Ben turns down his classmate Lola's invitation to the prom, she concocts a wildly violent plan for revenge. I am sure everybody here has seen The Loved Ones, but if you have not, you really need to. I will say, at first when I watched this film, I was like, it's okay. And then upon my second watch, I was like, oh, I think I love this. I want to say that our leading lady as Lola, she is so good. She is just so powerful on the screen. And honestly, this movie is iconic. Like, her in the pink dress with the drill is absolutely iconic. I want to do this cosplay. In The Loved Ones, there's a lot of really pretty cinematography, and there is also a lot of really eerie, creepy shots, which I liked. There's also some good gore, so if you're into that, you're definitely gonna like this movie. And I mean, overall, if you're into revenge horror films, then you're really gonna love this. I highly recommend checking it out. Speaking of revenge and gore, at number 7, we have Inside, directed by Alexandre Bustillo and Julian Maury. 4 months after the death of her husband, a woman on the brink of motherhood is tormented in her home by a strange woman who wants her unborn baby. So this is a French horror film. It is basically one of those French extremity horror films, and I really, really liked this one. I will say this is not a film that is for someone that cannot handle an obscene amount of gore. It is very graphic and gory, but if you're into that, that sounds like you're a fucking serial killer. But if you're someone who does not mind and you do like seeing that in a film, then I think you're definitely going to like it. The 2 women in this film both absolutely kill it. Their chemistry together is really what sells the movie for me. And I'm also just someone that is a fan of pregnancy horror films. They really, really scare me and they make me very nervous. And this one does exactly that. So again, if you're into a good pregnancy horror movie that's gonna make you feel super nervous, this is the one. This is it. Oh, I can't forget to mention that it is also beautifully shot. There are some scenes in this movie that will haunt me forever. They look so good. I wish I was in that film. Amazing. So well done. Now at number 6, we have a really iconic movie, and that is Suspiria, directed by Dario Argento. From the moment she arrives in Freiburg, Germany, to attend the prestigious Tanz Academy, American ballet dancer Susie senses that something horribly evil lurks within the walls of the age-old institution. With Suspiria, and knowing I have a horror channel with lots of horror fans watching right now, I know most of you have seen it. But for the few that maybe have not, please watch this. This is a brilliant giallo movie. It looks so beautiful. The use of the color red in this movie, they do it so well. I love it. Also, another thing that's great about Suspiria is that it has a lot of really unique over-the-top kills, just like a lot of other giallos do. But Argento, he is truly a master at his craft, and every shot is amazing. I mean, it is so good. I feel like this is one of those films that it's just like a perfect movie. This is a perfect movie. Oh, and the music, the score in this film is phenomenal. That is the one thing I always talk about with Suspiria is the score. I am so obsessed with it. I want it to be playing every day of my life. Like, I want to live with that score behind me. I want to be the main character. Now at number 5, we have Repulsion, directed by Roman Polanski, unfortunately. A sex-repulsed woman who disapproves of her sister's boyfriend sinks into depression and has horrific visions of and violence. So Repulsion actually pleasantly surprised me. I wasn't sure if I would like this film, but immediately while watching, you kind of just feel this really unsettling sense of dread throughout the entire film, and I really love that. I love when a film can just make me feel so many emotions that I'm not ready to feel yet. I think this is one that is brilliantly directed and very well written. We also have a amazing performance from Catherine Deneuve. She is so great. There are so many moments where it really is just her reacting to things happening, and she is amazing, a force to be reckoned with. Also, this movie is just visually stunning. I loved everything that was happening on the screen. And there were a lot of really cool shots that I haven't seen done in other films. And I could really appreciate that from a filmmaking standpoint. I also would like to point out that this film is very depressing and could be triggering. So just keep that in mind before jumping into this one. It does show some triggering scenes of sexual assault, so keep that in mind before watching. Now at number 4, we have another giallo, and that is The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, directed by Emilio Miraglia. 2 sisters inherit their family castle, which is said to be haunted by their homicidal ancestor, a dark-haired woman in a red robe known as the Red Queen, who is said to take 7 lives every 100 years. Okay, so I actually just watched this movie a couple days ago on Shudder, and I loved every second of this movie. This is a giallo that in itself is ridiculous, like most giallo films are. But visually, this film is absolutely stunning. Not only that, we have really great performances from all the women in this movie, and the fashion is so good. I was looking at half of the women's outfits and I was like, okay, making note of all the essential items I have to get so I could look like I am in a giallo. Like with many giallos, there are often a lot of twists and turns and the story gets really crazy, and this is one of those movies. But I will say the twist is very well done, as I really couldn't tell who it was. So they did a good job there. Also, the Red Queen is a fucking icon. She's an icon. I want to be her. Like, now. Speaking of icons, I'm super excited for number 3 because this is a film starring Joan Crawford, and that is Straight Jacket, directed by William Castle. After a 20-year stay at an asylum for a double murder, a mother returns to her estranged daughter, where suspicions arise about her behavior. So, if you've been here for a while, you know I absolutely love William Castle. I have been making it a priority to watch a lot of Joan Crawford's work, as well as Bette Davis, after seeing Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. So I did want to start first with Joan's horror movies because obviously. And I really did like this film, along with what I said about the Red Queen that kills 7 times. Straight Jacket has a really interesting twist that I did not at all see coming, and it was very well done. The film is shot beautifully. Joan Crawford is incredible. I mean, she is incredible. Literally, when she's just on the screen staring off, like doing her thing, she is so mesmerizing and amazing. I mean, she doesn't have to say a damn thing. That woman is so talented. There is also a lot of iconic shots in this film that I really loved. I really recommend this one if you have not seen it. I feel like I haven't heard many people talk about this one in the community, so I feel like you guys need to add this to your Letterboxd watch list, like, now. Now at number 2, we have Diabolique, directed by Henry George Closet. The wife and mistress of a loathed school principal plan to murder him with what they believe is the perfect alibi. These 2 women are absolutely 2 spooky bad bitches! Oh my gosh, this film, I just knew. My friend Joni actually told me I would love this movie. He knew instantly. He was like, oh honey, you are gonna love Diabolique. And it is because of him that I immediately watched it. It was one of those movies that had been on my watch list for so long, and I just never got to it because I was like, ugh, I have so many movies to get to. But with Joni telling me how much I would love it, and him instantly knowing it's a spooky bad bitch movie, like, I had to jump in on it, and I'm so happy I did. This is another one of those films that does have like a lot of twists and turns, and you're not really sure what is happening, and that is the beauty of it. There's also some really gorgeous shots in this movie. The acting from our two leading ladies is very good. And though there are moments in this film that can feel like they drag a little bit, it is still well worth it because the ending is very effective. I also want to talk about how there is so much anxiety in this movie. This movie just oozes anxiety and that sense of dread. Much like Repulsion. But yeah, as you can tell, I just love very depressing movies, I guess. But I did watch Diabolique on HBO Max, so if it is still on there, I highly recommend checking that one out as soon as you can. Now at number 1, we have one of my favorite films of all time, and that is Possession from 1981, directed by Andrzej Zulawski. A woman starts exhibiting increasingly disturbing behavior after asking her husband for a divorce. Suspicions of infidelity soon give way to something much more sinister. This film stars one of my absolute favorite actresses of all time, Isabelle Adjani, and this is Isabelle Adjani's most iconic moment for me. This is one of those movies that I feel like is a masterclass in acting and in filmmaking. This movie, visually stunning. Some of the camera work in this movie is so effective. It just makes you feel so nervous. And it's so well done. I could geek about this movie for hours. The possession scene alone in this film, it is remarkable. It is so captivating. I mean, it is my favorite possession scene in any horror film. Also, if you've seen Possession 1981, then you know that the scene of Isabelle Adjani in the train station, fucking iconic. Possession is another film that really has that sense of dread and is very anxiety inducing. It also has some very disturbing imagery, some really cool practical effects as well, but just very strange and might make you feel very uncomfortable, so keep that in mind. But other than that, it is absolutely amazing. I don't believe it is on any streaming services right now, so it may be a little hard to find, but if you can find it, I highly recommend checking this one out. Alright, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me a lot, and be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And let me know in the comments, have you seen any of these films? Did I give you a bunch to add to your watch list? I'd love to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh. Bye.